Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Movie Nights movie review. Today, we are talking about Wolfman, the 2025, and I say we because I am not alone. I am with the great Nicholas Iricchio. Nick, how are you, my friend?
Good. How are you, buddy?
Good, good. Good to be here with you. Um, we just got out of seeing our, early press screening for Wolfman. This film was directed by Leigh Whannell, who recently directed The Invisible Man in 2020 and Upgrade before that. Both movies that I love. I know you weren't big on Invisible Man. I loved it.
I liked
Um,
Upgrade. I'm gonna see, spoiler alert, seem big on Invisible Man after this.
yes. I also love Leigh Whannell as a writer. He
Yeah.
wrote the original Saw. He wrote Insidious. He's been in this business for a long time. He's done a lot of great things. Man, it brings me no joy to say that this movie didn't really work for me, and
No.
I really wanted it to. I really wanted it to. And when I was kind of thinking about how I was going to describe this movie, Nick, I kind of describe it as if you were a coach giving like football tryouts and you saw one kid just try his absolute hardest and give everything he's got, but you just can't, you still just can't let him on the team.
Mm.
You want to let him on the team, but you just can't. And that's kind of how I feel about the movie, and that I see all the stuff that they were going for. I see all the effort. I see the seeds planted. I kind of see what the vision was trying to be. I just think it all fell flat and it was kind of a slog, which is, shocking to me. It's not not how I expected to feel about the movie. I think it really tries to tell like a deep thematic story of like generational trauma and, not trying to be like your family, but it just didn't work. There's really no other way for to describe it for me. How would you describe it?
No, yeah, I mean about the same there. They tried to, I guess, do something different, right? Invisible Man was really this story of, like sort of an abusive relationship there.
Hmm.
And while I'm not a big fan of the movie, at least that movie to me had like something it was trying to make a statement about. And this, I don't really know where to even go to, like what the point, like just looking at IMDb, right? The plot is a family at a remote farmhouse attacked by an unseen animal, but as the night stretches on, the father begins to transform into something unrecognizable. Standard werewolf stuff, or wolfman stuff, I guess you should say. But like there was no character arcs that I found to be compelling. I really, you're rooting for this wife and daughter throughout the movie, but you really don't know anything about them outside of like the movie's telling you, oh well, you should because they're dealing with a wolf man. But I thought that the effects work was, the creature design was a little lackluster, and I'm a sucker for some good creature design. I thought the body horror was kind of, a lot of the thrills and scares to me just were not effective, and the ones that may have been effective were all the ones that you've seen in the trailers.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up too. All of the great jump scares and creepy visuals were in the trailer.
So by the time I seen it,
That's
I'm desensitized.
exactly. And and like there were a couple things I liked about the movie. Like I think that there are a couple really good visuals. Particularly, I'm a big fan of visual scares without music cues, just something that you can see and it unsettles you. And there are
Hmm.
a couple instances of that, particularly in the beginning of the film. There's also a good repeating beat with breath that I won't spoil just in case you want to see it. But I thought that that visual kind of motif was really interesting and good. And again, like I see what they were trying to do, and they laid the groundwork for this family. Like it puts in the time to get you
Hmm.
to spend time with this family. The problem is I just didn't emotionally connect with it, but it spent the time. It did the thing. It's not like it was void of it. It just didn't do it in a way that I felt was emotionally resonant. And when you have a movie that's going to kind of drag out this transformation, you got to feel for it more than you do. And
Yeah.
I also think that I'm trying not to spoil the movie, and I won't, but
Hmm.
the movie introduces ideas that are a bit more interesting than the idea that the actual movie went with. And you just can't help but feeling like there was also just story left on the table, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Well, I thought just some of the pacing and editing was really off. Like, kind of every time he started doing something new with the transformation or whatever, I felt like we had missed like a 5 minute scene leading up to it because of like the way everyone was sort of acting around it. Like it kind of fell into that horror movie thing of like people are not reacting in the way they should be reacting, and
Yeah,
it's
and
very odd.
yeah,
Like, there
yeah,
was a lot of,
and
like, dead silence of, like, people just staring and watching. It's like, you're not hauling us at this point. Like, what are we doing here?
yeah, yeah, and it also at some point, like, and this is in the trailer, so I don't mind talking about this part. In the
Mhm.
trailer, you see him in a car that's kind of stuck in a tree or like over a ledge, and that's where the Wolfman first attacks him. The family's on top of the ambulance,
Mhm.
and like it attacks him. He gets out and says, "All right, we gotta go," and then they start running, and like yeah, they address that like some fucked up shit happened, but at no point is it like if I was standing somewhere and a creature was crawling on the thing that I was standing on, I would do something, whether it be scream or even if it was to be still, even if it was flight,
Yeah.
like freeze. Like there was no shot of them just like recognizing like what was happening. And I felt like there were a lot of missing little pieces like that throughout the movie.
Well, it was also just sort of the other thing, like, not really spoilers, but, like, they barricade a door, kind of,
Mhm.
and then you see, like, the strength that this creature has later on, and you're like, "Okay, that," or, they go check to make sure the window's locked, and it's like, this thing would bust through the window
Mhm.
easily. Like, what are we just because it's shut doesn't mean it's okay.
Yeah.
That was sort of my sort of issues with it as well, it was just a mess, honestly. It was
Yeah.
like it was decent enough put together, like, from a
Yeah.
directing and see like, that was fine, but just story-wise, script-wise, and Julia Garner's a terrific actress, but man, she had nothing to work with here,
Mhm.
and I don't I would love to see the Ryan Gosling version of this
Yeah, because he
because
was gonna he was gonna play him at
he
one
was
point. Yeah.
attached at one point, yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't know, Christopher Abbott's 2 for 2 on me. Was not a fan of him in Craven, and this, I don't know if I'm going back for it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't think he's a bad actor. I don't really think this is on the performers. But I think that the pacing of the second act, I think, is what really where the movie could have saved itself,
Yeah.
and it just didn't. And I feel like it was in hindsight. Hindsight's 2020. Monday morning quarterbacking here, but I almost feel like having the transformation slowly happen throughout the course of the movie was a crux that kind of hurt this story. I think if you sped up the transformation to like the end of the first act and then it's just a family dealing with like a fully transformed Wolfman,
Mhm.
or he doesn't get attacked or infected until going into the third act, I think also could have been effective
Yeah.
given the story revelations that they reveal, which I'm not going to reveal here. But yeah, it's just a shame. I think it fell apart. And look, I love Leigh Whannell. I'm gonna watch the next thing he makes. He's 2 for 3 for me on directing. He's way higher than that on writing for me. I think he's a great filmmaker. I can't wait to see what he does next. This one just unfortunately didn't work for me. But
I
but
mean, yeah,
yeah.
I enjoy his writing. I'm not a huge fan of Invisible Man or this, but I really did like Upgrade. So, I'm not going to say that I'm overexcited for his next project, but I'll probably be there. And, he did Invisible Man, he did Wolfman. And after seeing both, I can just say I'm happy that the director of Evil Dead Rise, Lee Cronin, is doing The Mummy.
Yeah, yeah, fair. And we
That's
got
sort of
James
where I'm going with it.
and you got James Wan doing Creature from Black Lagoon.
Exactly. So, I have hope there.
Absolutely, absolutely. But what did you guys think of Wolfman, the 2025 version of Wolfman? Please let us know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.